Sup fams, you're tuned in to the channel Eps. I'm your host EEPMON. Happy Friday, everyone. Please like and subscribe if you like the content. It would help, much appreciated, to spread the news for those aspiring in the creative industry and creative entrepreneurship. So, another day left to go and August is over. I cannot believe this. Like, where did the time go? September is rolling around, and that means EEPMON Arc 3 will also be coming to a close. I think EEPMON, Arc 4 will commence in October. But also next week is going to be a very important forum, which I'll be attending. It is called the Banff Forum. And this will be their 23rd forum, and every year, held annually, is different locations across Canada. This time, I will find myself in Whitehorse, Yukon, and the forum runs between September 5th to the 7th, which is 2 days. And what is the Banff Forum? The Banff Forum, I'm going to just read it right off the website, is one of Canada's preeminent public policy forums. Each year, we convene a national forum that brings together leaders across Canada and leading thinkers from around the world to share their knowledge, enhance their leadership skills, build national networks, and discuss and debate the most pressing issues facing Canada today. So that's a pretty heavy paragraph right there. Now, as some of you know, I'm honored to be the recipient of the Banff Forum Arne Bank Johansson Fellowship. Every year, cultural creators, artists can apply to be part of the fellowship. And I believe they select one or two artists. This year, myself and another recipient will be part of this year's forum. And you can go to the website. I'll put it in the show notes. And it's myself, and of course, Miranda is the other recipient, and she's an accomplished musician, Juno-nominated Canadian singer and fiddler. Really, really cool. We've already touched base a couple times, and let's see where it goes. And what's interesting is that the Arne Bank Johansson Fellowship was created, I believe it was in 2019, as a response to the fact that amongst the public policy discussions about shaping and addressing issues facing Canada, culture was not part of the discourse. The cultural aspect, the artistic aspect was never prior to that, part of these conversations, which is in this day and age quite questionable. And fortunately, this is why it was created. And in fact, truth be told, an individual by the name of Roxanne Duncan, who served as the executive director at the Banff Forum between 2019 to 2024, created and instigated the Johansson Fellowship for that very reason. Artists being part of the FODE in conversation, policy decisions, policy discussions. Now, this is all new to me. I mean, granted, EEPMON has traveled the world. I worked with clientele internationally. I was on the Canadian Museum Association's board of directors. So my capacity on government, federal, cultural, Canadian heritage affiliated programs and summits I have been involved with. I was on the working group for the GLAM Summit, that stands for Galleries, Libraries, Archives, Museums, a collaboration between the Library and Archives Canada and the Canadian Museum Association. And in fact, I moderated a panel during the GLAM Summit. There were three summits uh, that was held. Uh, so it's interesting, just stepping back the trajectory that I went forward with. Digital creator, I mean, looking like I'm just, I could have like did the usual thing, worked at a design studio agency, went to a bigger city, took the usual route as creators to look for opportunities. But I stayed put, and as a creative entrepreneur, like I continued with EEPMON despite the up and downs, right? And here I am in with this forum coming up. I do have some goals that I want to achieve when I'm there. And I do believe that like, the potentiality of the opportunity could present itself, but I don't know. Like, but I think that, how they say that if you think about it and you manifest it, and then you really have that vision and you go for it, and if you have that mindset and you continue that route, you will eventually get it. um so it's always the moving target. Like, I reached certain thresholds in my career to the point that I believe the next phase of what I can do in my creative capacity, in my digital capacity, could very well, the Banff Forum may very well be the place to embellish that goal. I'm not going to say what the goal is because I don't want to jinx it. But it is it's going to be a very different crowd, I think. Because, like I said, prior to the creation of the Johansson Fellowship, it was there was more of a STEM play. It was more governmental leaders and thinkers, uh, economists, I believe. So I'll be engaged in a totally different world, different crowd. But I think it's going to be a lot of. I'm looking very forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, and just be your authentic self when you're there. You know, just like nothing to be pretentious about. Just be who you are. You know, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm preparing for all that. It's coming up, making sure that I have everything put. Just I'll be as prepared as I can. But as I mentioned, or even as the creative act the way of being book, there's that lightning bolt chapter. So that goal, I said, like, I have that lightning bolt, but I will be also very aware and mindful of everything that surrounds it, because where the things that are surrounding lightning bolt is where the magic happens. So I'm going to be networking. I'm going to be meeting people. I'm going to be engaging, and just really push forward on my creative endeavors, EEPMON endeavors, building national networks. I do think that this is that next threshold in my artistic career, if you want to call it, profession, life. I always think that my it's a way of being, right? Um, So I'm looking very forward to it. Looking very forward to it. But again, like I look back, the trajectory that I've taken, like I just followed my own path. I followed what I believed in. I just, it's not like I said like I believe in myself. Oh, I believe in my. It's like I never really thought about, I believe in myself. It's more like I just went with the flow of things, you know, allowing my creativity, my way of being, me as a human being, my artistry being. Um, I I allowed it to allowed to navigate and move fluidly, um, with not much tension. Like I just allow it to discover its own path, and that's what I did, despite those who didn't understand me, those who questioned my motives, those who, let's face it, laughed at me, didn't think I'm going to make it, questioning why I do these sort of things. And then it's not until like decades later, a decade later, then they realize, oh, wow, you were ahead of the game. That's right. But, but it's not like it's not like being spiteful. It's more like it's just what it is. And this is who I am. And I navigate my world, my own world, because no one's going to do it for me. No one's going to handhold EEPMON in this volatile world we live in. If anything, I with EEPMON, I learned so much about myself. I learned so much about myself. I went through several volatile cycles of the world, and I survived. So that to me, folks, is priceless. You can't put a number on that. That's a life lesson, life experience. That's why I say that. That's exactly why art is a way of life. It's not about how much you're worth and how much this project, that project. It's beyond that. It's beyond metrics. It's such a qualitative, deeply rooted to qualitative nature. So much so that we live and we breathe it. And it has got to me at this point. When does it end? Does it ever end? Does my mission, my adventure never, like, does it ever end? No, it never ends. It does not end. And I always like to think that I'm just getting started. And the adventures never end, because if it ends, then I end. EEPMON ends. And that's like, my life is ended. Like it's just like there's no way. It cannot end. So that's how convicted I am. Well, anyway, I thought I just want to share that with you. Kind of keep it light. I don't know if this was a light conversation. Maybe it was a very deep conversation. But I'm excited. I'm very excited. And also, I want to say something else too. I'm very excited too because for the first time, this is probably going to 20 minutes now. For the first time ever, I will be going to the Banff Forum with none other but my brother, Kevin Chan. Now, we're completely different worlds. We have nothing to do with each other in regards to there's absolutely no conflict of interest. Like, he's not an artist. He did not apply for the ABJ fellowship. No. But it's so interesting that our worlds collided. Our worlds collided because I'm in the creative industries. He's in the tech industry, but also dealing with they are he works for Meta, so he's part of Meta is the platinum sponsor. But also I think, I don't know exactly all the details, but in his previous roles at Meta, he was doing a lot of policy related endeavors on behalf of Meta to engage with policy side of things with the Canadian government, etc. So the Banff Forum clearly is a place for that type of conversations at that type of place, right? Not just Meta, like Amazon, I'm sure is going to be there, and all these other tech people are going to be there. Uh, but I'm really happy because this is the first time that we will be together in Whitehorse, Yukon, and yeah, it's a milestone. It's surreal that I get to be there with him. And it's like, wow, is that like how often like that? This is the first time ever in my life, or in our lives, that we are together in this very special um, forum. So serendipity is a very interesting thing, if you want to call it a thing. So now there's a lot of things gonna happen. I don't know what the outcome's gonna be, but I do know this, folks. Right? Embrace the uncertainty, embrace the unknowns, and I like for all my travels and all my risk taking, going out there, going to the other side of the world, like B2Bs, this kind of thing, and then questioning, oh, is it going to work out? What's the outcome? Is it really worth it? I guarantee every time you go out there, you embrace those uncertainties, break the mode, go there, make it happen. Guaranteed something positive would always come out from it. Always positive. As to what it is, I don't know. But from my past experience, it was always a very positive thing. Positive thing because you decided to break the mode. You decided to take accountability, responsibility to pursue your own objectives, your own adventures. No one's giving you a guidebook on how to do it. So when you do it, you write your plan down, you act on it, the actual being actionable on it, see through the entire process, the outcome is always guaranteed to be positive. So I'm going to wrap that up. So happy Friday, folks. I hope you enjoyed. Please like and subscribe. And I will be continuing the channel Eps when I'm over in Whitehorse. So, please follow me on Instagram too. I'm at EEPMON. I do a lot of stories behind the scenes. And yeah. Have a great evening. Have a great afternoon. Have a great morning. Wherever you are in the world, this is the Channel Eps episode 109. Happy Friday. Have a great weekend. And until tomorrow. Bye-bye.